Hey guys, what's up? Here's the sock we're going to be making. Got awesome little pull strings. Hopefully you can see that. It's going to be awesome. Okay guys, here we go. We're going to loom knit a sock. And it's going to be fun. We're using this 24-pin loom. This particular loom has a starting peg right here. Not all of them do. It doesn't really matter. So let's put a little loom marker. You can use a rubber band. These little circle things work fine. So we'll call that pin 1. And then we want to hit the exact opposite side, which is right there. So there's 11 pins in between here and here, and 11 pins in between here and here. There. So 11 pins and 11 pins. We have a marker there and a marker there. We're going to start by tying a slip knot. And up and over. So there, we're coming up over. I'm going to have to go slower there. So there we come up and over. We're holding onto the tail with our fingers here. And then we just reach through here, grab this, and that makes a slip knot. See there? It slips. That's why it's a slip knot. There we go. We can put our slip knot on the starting peg, or you can put it here or here. It doesn't really matter. So we're going to start there, and what we're going to do is called an E-wrap. So we're going to wrap around every peg clockwise, and I'll show you if you can look at where the yarn goes. Let me show you when I do clockwise. You can see the yarn is on the inside there, so the line of yarn is right there on the inside, and then our loops are on the outside. That works because we're going to be building the sock into the center. It's going to be going from here into the center, so that's why we want our yarn here on the inside. If we had looped around the other way, counterclockwise, it still all looks cool and everything, but you don't have your yarn line on the inside. Your yarn line is on the outside. You want the yarn line on the inside. Let's start that over, and we'll go clockwise around each peg. And clockwise around each peg, it's called an E-wrap because it kind of looks like a cursive E. Bloop. 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 I guess I don't need sound effects the whole way. So now we're back at peg. Here's 24, and here's 1. So here's 24, or sorry, here's 24, and there's 1. So we've completed one complete circle around, and we're back to peg 1. What we're going to do, you want to hold the end of your yarn here, kind of keep it taut, because if you let it go, your yarn will just go right off your loom. So you want to kind of hold this tail, depending on which hand works best. Keep it kind of taut around there. Here we go. And I'm just going to put my finger like on there. And what we want to do is we want to push the yarn down. Along the whole loom. Okay. Now I'm gonna still grabbing my yarn here. I have my yarn. I'm gonna show you the loom. These knots, and they're not knots, they're loops. They're all pushed down. This will help us in our next step quite a bit. So here we are, peg 24, back to 1. We're gonna wrap around 1 now, an E-wrap, just like before, a clockwise, just one single rotation around. And we're going to do that with peg 2 and peg 3. And we're going to keep going all the way around again. You don't want to let them get too close there. Kind of pull your yarn down so you can see two distinct spots. And there's peg 24 and back to 1. So now we're back to 1 again. We can still hold our yarn here just to keep it safe, but what you want to do is hold that yarn down. See, we have 2 lines now along the whole loom. We have done an E-wrap twice around the whole loom. And so we don't have to keep holding this yarn because it's kind of a pain. Where are we at here? There. It's kind of a pain to hold that. This last one, this is peg 24. This was peg 1. This is 24. We've gone all the way around twice. Peg 24. We're going to take this bottom loop. We're going to push it up over the top loop. Sometimes it can be a little bit tight. In fact, we'll just do this right here. If this is so tight, move these guys up next to it. Then it should give you enough slack to where you can pull it up and over. Maybe. It should give you enough slack to where you can pull it up and over. So there, we did just one. It's called a knit over. But that's going to keep our yarn there. Just to be on the safe side, let's do another one next to it. So now we've done 2 knit overs. So hopefully that makes sense. We've gone around twice and we got here to peg 24. And you can see there was 2 loops on peg 24 and 23. We knitted over the bottom loop, over the top, bottom over the top, and now we're going to keep going. Peg 23, peg 22, all the way back to 1. Oh, I messed up. I didn't put one of my markers on, but we can do that now. So you see how I'm knitting over there? I'm sorry if I was going too fast. It just goes right up and over like that. This bottom loop, you kind of pull out on it and then get it up and over that peg. Bottom loop out, up and over the peg. Bottom loop out, up and over the peg. Bottom loop out, up and over the peg. is our working yarn. It's kind of just in the way. It's not going to hurt anything. Now we're at peg, what are we at? 3 and 2 and 1. And you can see my marker came off here. I'm going to slide that back on. We just want it on the halfway point right across. So that is this peg right here. So let's lift our yarn off. Hopefully it won't be too tight. It's a little tight. Okay. Put our marker there. And then get our yarn back on. We can push down our yarn again. And we E-wrap again. 24, here's over to 1, and we E-wrap, and we E-wrap, and we E-wrap. And we're almost halfway. There we go. Get a little bit more yarn. Okay, that's peg 24. Here's back to 1. So I'm going to hold this like I do there on that peg and knit over peg 24. And 23. Whoops. Try 23 again. And 23. And now we can let go of our working yarn here. So now we've gone around again. So we have our 2 loops, 24 and 23. We've already knitted over. So we just keep going around. I'll go slow a little bit. Right up and under and over. Right up and under. That one was a little bit tight, so what you can do is just push the yarn, make sure, get them apart so you can see what you're doing. You can use your fingers or the Loom tool. Oh, speaking of Loom tool, it really helps if this is sharp. See at the tip there? No, I don't know if you can see, but it's very sharp. Here's another one. This one's not as sharp. It's harder to do it with a dull one, and maybe dull's not the right word because you don't really sharpen these, but this one came sharper than this one. So buy yourself a good Loom tool. You want a nice sharp Loom tool. They sell some nice ones on Amazon that have an ergonomic grip that you know, it has a slight little bit of give in it, and you will notice that so much when you're looming, when you're knitting over and over and over. You'll notice, your fingers will notice. So here we go. We're coming around. We're coming to the halfway point. Knit over, knit over, knit over, all the way back to 1 again. Kind of messy. It's just our working yarn. Just scooch it out of the way. coming around. And we got a couple more. And there, we're out of second loops to knit over. So we do the same thing. We push halfway down. You don't want your tail yarn to get all wrapped up in there, so keep this tail off to the front. This is kind of long, it's a little bit annoying. I usually have mine cut much shorter, that way it just doesn't get in the way. So here we're down to one loop around each peg, and when you look on the inside, we have a few rows. 4, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, so that's our sock. We're building our sock. Okay, so we want to do this for 20 more rows. So let's do 20 rows and see where we're at. One thing I wanted to say here, guys, before we get too far, is this slip knot that you first tied on, it needs to come off. If you did this on the starting peg like this, it needs to come off. So, since it is a slip knot, you can just pull at that knot, and it should come right off. There we go. And now we can just pull this and the slip knot goes away. We can tuck this down into our loom so it's coming out the bottom. I need a crochet hook or something. Okay, so that's going out the bottom. Let's keep doing our rows. We have 2 on. We just knitted over 24, 23, 22. If you find your stitches tight, just wrap this looser. But try to stay consistent. If you're going to wrap loose all the time. If you're going to wrap tight all the time. You'll figure out what you like. There, that should be enough to make a cuff. We'll be folding this over. So what we do now, see how long that is? How many rows are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20. So we did about 20 rows total for the cuff part. And go ahead and push this up through. Don't let anything come off the pegs. So there's your sock right now on the loom, sticking up. And what we're going to be doing, first we're going to be making a cord, but after that then we'll be putting the cord around here, the pull cord, and then we'll be putting this back on the loom. So kind of an exciting part. You guys can do it. I know you can do it. Okay guys, this is an exciting part. We're going to make the pull cord. What we need to do is grab some spare yarn, some scrap yarn. You don't need that much. You need, I don't know, a few feet, 3 or 4 feet. But just grab some yarn, get some extra. It can be the same color or a different color. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a cord to go in the sock here. Right around there. And it's going to be a nice cord. It's going to be thicker than this. And we're going to be wrapping it right around there in the sock before we finish the cuff. But to make this cord, let's get everything out of the way. You tie a slip knot to start with. So, over. So we're holding the tail. And we just reach through here and grab that and then pull. So now we have a slip knot. So now what we're going to do is just reach through the hole in the slip knot. Leave the tail. Leave the tail. Don't worry about the tail. Actually, just grab it with your other hand and pull this through. And you're going to keep doing that over and over and over. Reach through the loop, grab your yarn, pull the tail. reach through the loop, grab the yarn, pull the tail. And if you get too big of a loop like that, you can just close it up just like that. So that's how to make the pull cord. And you guys just keep going, keep pulling those loops until this is about, oh, maybe 25 inches long. And this is just going to be wrapping around your ankle. If your ankle is smaller, then you can make it smaller. If your ankle is larger, then you can make it larger. I think 25 inches is a good place to start. You don't want it to be too short. And if you don't want to make a pull cord right now, you can just put a piece of yarn in there as kind of a placeholder, and then you can pull this through once you make one. I'm going to actually try it on my foot, see if it wraps around. It's getting pretty close. We'll just do a few more knots. Getting close. Okay, so we have about 25 inches. That'll wrap around the ankle. And to finish it off, Okay guys, so once you find some scissors, here's your 25 inches, and there's our hole still. We just cut the yarn, put that yarn through the hole, and pull. There. There's our 25-inch pull string. Now let's put that yarn off to the side. Get our sock back in here. So this, hopefully this makes sense. This will be a cuff. This will be folded over. And then this will be inside the cuff. What we want to do, we want to find the halfway point. So here's our, that's not our starting peg. There's our starting peg. And then here's the halfway point over here. Scooch that out of the way. Because we got our marker there and there. So what you want to do is you want to pick, because this is going to be cuffed down like this. Sorry, like that. And then our pull string will be coming out here. And we want it to come out in the center in between these two. So pin 6 and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 right here. So we want this pull string to come out between 6 and 7. So what you want to do is you want to pick about halfway down on your knit there and lead these through there. If you have a crochet hook, it might be easier. So lead both pull strings through there. Okay, so we have our pull string here, and then we just threaded through these two pieces into the inside. So as it stands up, we're going in between 6 and 7, we're going into the sock and then out the middle with the two ends. Okay, let's stuff those ends down in. We don't need them right now. Let's push this around the cuff, and we can pull those strings to get it a little bit tighter if we want to. So now you can see the pull string is wrapped around the sock. And what you do now is we need to put the sock back on the loom, and then our cuff will be completed. We'll start by finding hole number, or peg number 1, which is right here. And then inside here we get our tail that we used when we started wrapping, and you're going to have a loop right there. Add that tail. That loop. Oh, actually let's push our yarn down so we have some peg to put it on. Okay, let's get our tail. There's our tail. And we want to go to pin 1. And you can just look at the loops here. You can see the loops for where your threads need to be pegged. So there's that first loop where our tail was. Now we're back on there. Now let's look at the next loop over. We can use our tool if we want to. Sometimes it's easier to not to. Let's try it without. Get that on. Then let's get our next one. And we're going to go all the way around. You see how those go on there? We're halfway around. And we have one more. And it's usually the toughest one. Not in this case. So now you can see, guys, that we have folded that over. Our pull strings are coming out there on the inside. And we've finished looping the cup off over. So now we have 2 loops on each peg. We'll get back to peg 24. That'll be a good place to start. And we'll just knit over. Knit over. Knit over. And push this down if it's in the way. Now we're all the way back to peg 1. And Oops. Come on. There we go. There's peg 1. So now let's push these down just so we can kind of regroup. And there's our sock cuff. See how the loops are coming out? You might not be able to see it yet, but that's how it's going to look. So now we have the cuff done, and now we need to build a little bit of the body. So we're going to do 10 rows now, just like we did before. We only have one loop on here. We're going to E-wrap, get our tail out of the way. Let's put the tail inside so it's not in the way. And let's E-wrap, just like we did all the other rows. There's peg 1, 2, 3. And we've gone all the way around, back at peg 1. And we knit over. So we'll do 10 rows and we'll see how it looks. So there, we got 10 more rows. So here's the cuff of our sock. Here's the 2 ties. Here's the cuff of our sock. It goes down in. So now we're ready to start the heel. Peg 1. Peg 13. That's our halfway point. This bottom half is going to be the heel, and the top is going to be the toe. Right now we're just working with the heel. So we're going to be doing a bunch of stitches down here, but only down here, because we need to build out the heel. So let me tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do a new stitch which is called a wrap and turn. And we're going to start here. Here's our working yarn. We're going to go E-wrap all the way halfway, and then we're going to do a wrap and turn. Come back, wrap and turn. Come back to the next peg down, wrap and turn. Come back to the next peg down, wrap and turn. Come back to the next one, and we keep doing that 5 times. So let's start. Let's get our yarn down so we can wrap. And here we're going from pin 24 to 1, and all we're doing is an E-wrap, just like we've been doing. Keep E-wrapping. Until that halfway point. Okay, here we're coming to the halfway point. So we're 1 away from the halfway point. So instead of E-wrapping this one, we're going to do the wrap and turn. And to do a wrap and turn, you come in front of the peg and then behind it. Okay? In front of and then behind it. Let's scoot our yarn down here. I'm going to hold my yarn here while I knit these over. Maybe. There we go. I'm going to wait on that wrap and turn. Let's knit these over to get them out of the way. Whenever you're E-wrapping a bunch of pegs, you can just wrap until you have nothing to wrap anymore, and then you can knit over. It's a good way to do it. Okay. We're up here to our halfway point. We're going to be coming back this way. Remember, we're only working on the heel right now. So we're at the halfway point, and we need to wrap and turn. Come around that halfway point and turn. And then we turn right back into the E-wrap. And now, since we're going in the opposite direction, the E-wrap goes in the counterclockwise direction. You can see your yarn is still building up on the inside there. Keep doing E-wrap all the way till we almost hit peg 1. There's peg 1. So let's go ahead and knit these guys off so we can worry about peg 1 here in a second. Now remember, we don't knit this one off. This was our wrap and turn. So this halfway point stays as 2 loops. Okay, so on this side, everything has 1 loop except for our halfway point, which has 2. Look back here to pin 1. Everything has 1 loop because we're not quite finished coming back. Let's push our yarn down. I always forget to do that. And that's okay. So here we are. We're coming to pin 1. We're going to do the wrap and turn. Remember, wrap in front and then turn. Okay? And then we just go straight into the E-wrap and keep going. We're not quite going to the halfway point this time. there's the halfway point. We're going to be wrapping and turning this peg. So let's hold it here and knit over these guys so we don't have to worry about them. Remember, don't knit over the first peg. That's our wrap and turn. So now we have a single loop on every ring except for ring 1 and ring 13. And now we're going to start and hit ring 12. Let's push our yarn down. So now we're going to wrap and turn around pin 12. So we're on pin 11 here. We're going to wrap and turn around 12. And then go straight back into our E-wrap. So we're almost back around. There's our pin 1 as 2. I promise. It does have 2. So now we're going to wrap and turn pin 2. So let's hold this guy. Let's knit these guys off so we don't have to worry about them. And remember, when we're coming back here, we need to leave pin 13 and pin 12. We're gonna, here we go. Here's pin 11. So we have a double here, single, single, single. And on the other side, we have one double. That's not a double. One double, and now we're coming back around, so we're going to do a wrap and turn on pin 2. So pin 2, we need to do a wrap and turn. When we wrap and turn, we come in front, and then back behind, and we just do our E-wraps. Okay, here was our last wrap and turn. So this is going to be our new wrap and turn. So let's knit these guys over. I'm going to do something a little bit different coming back this time. So let's push our yarn down, get ready to come back. So we're on peg, let's see, 13, 12, 11, 10. We're on peg 10. We need to wrap and turn peg 11. Wrap and turn, and then go straight into our E-wrap. And then I'm going to stop. I'm going to knit this first E-wrap over. I think it'll help us keep our place over on this side. So that's an E-wrap. So now let's keep going. E-wrap all the way back. And we're going to stop here. Whoops, we're unraveled. It happens. We're going to stop here because we have a double, double, and this will be our next wrap and turn, or double. So I want to knit this over, and then we have these in the center that we have to get over. Okay, we're doing good. Yep, we're doing good. We have 3 on this side. Double, double, double. How are we doing over here? We have a double and a double, and this is our new one. We're going to do a wrap and turn. So let's go over this again. We have our halfway point here and our starting point here. This is our heel portion. So we're going to do a bunch of E-wraps, and then wrap and turn, wrap and turn, wrap and turn, and keep going. And we're going to do that 5 times on each side. That'll build up the hill. So that's where we're at. We have 2 on this side. We're hitting our 3rd on this side. So let's do a wrap and turn. Oh, I almost went back behind. A wrap and turn goes in front. Go in front, and then we go straight to the E-wrap again. And I'm going to E-wrap that first one just to keep our place. I think that'll help us keep our place. I'll show you why. We're going to double. You see, we're coming to our next pin that we need to work on here. Okay, we have 3 on that side. We have 3 on this side. 1, 2, 3. We're working on the 4th on this one. I'm going to keep going. Wrap and turn. One, 2, 3, 4. It's our last one on this side. Our last wrap and turn. Wrap. Sorry, in front. Wrap and turn. Then into the E-wrap. And do we need to hit this guy? I think we do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, we hit this guy. So then we have 5 loops, 5 double loops on this side. Hopefully you can see that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Promise it's there. It's there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How are we doing on this side? 1, 2, 3. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have our last wrap and turn here. Go in front and turn. Hold that guy. Okay, so we have 5 on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double turns, and 5 on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now what we need to do is we need to knit back, and we'll knit back to the first double, and then we'll knit that double over. Come back this way to the first double, knit that double over. Come over this way to this double, knit it over. And once you're done with that, then you'll have all single loops around the whole loom again. So let's do this slowly. So we just finished our 5th wrap on this side. So now let's E-wrap. 1, 2, 3. Because we're just grabbing that first double. On that double, peel over, watch this, one at a time. Peel over the top, and then peel over the bottom. And then this one's not a double. And now we go back. We push our yarn down, and we go back. Okay guys, so we just pulled over that first wrap and turn. Now we're going this way. We just need to go to the next double. There's our next double. And we're going to wrap both of those over. And then we turn back directions. And we go to our next double. Oh, I forgot to wrap over here, guys. We don't want triple loops. So here's a double loop on these last 3. We need to knit over those guys, just like we've been doing all along. Now we can go back. So we just did this double. Now we need to E-wrap back till we hit the next double. Oops. Here's our next double. Pretty sure. And let's wrap these. Not wrap them. Let's knit over these E-wraps. Okay, so let's push down and we'll head back the other direction. And we'll wrap both of these over. And we'll knit over these singles. Now we push our yarn down and we go back the other direction. Need to get our next two. There's our next two. Knit over, knit over. These are our regular E-wraps that we did. And that's a single. So let's take a look, see how we're doing. Here's our pin 1. We have a double there still. Come on. There's a double on pin 1 and pin 2. Then we keep going around. And there's still a double on pin 13, 12, and 11. And we just did. So let's come back. And we just go. So we started down here on the decrease. We're going like that. And working our way back. Push our yarn down. And go back the other direction. Pick up that next two. And we'll push our yarn down. And this is our last double on this side, guys. So we need to pick up this last double, then we'll head back. We'll be done on this side. Now let's go back, guys. Now we're just knitting in the round again, all the way around. Now we're going to keep wrapping this way, you guys, and we'll just keep going as if we weren't working on the heel, because we're done working on the heel now. So here's our sock. Oh, I did these on the wrong side. We'll have to fix that in the end. These pull cords don't go behind on the heel side. These pull cords go on the front side, so we'll have to fix that when we're done. Shouldn't be too bad. So let's keep knitting around like we were before. Pin 1. And I noticed something here, guys. I'm at the halfway point. Let me get back to pin 1. I noticed my pin 1 still has a double loop on it. We're getting back to where now we're just going in the round, so this shouldn't have a double loop. So we might have miscounted by 1 stitch coming back the last time. It doesn't matter, guys. It doesn't matter. Knit it over. It's going to look fine in the end. It's going to look fine in the end. So there we're back to just going around and around and around. I'll get us started here. We're going to go, it's going to depend on the number of rows. You're going to want to test it with your foot. Or depending on whose foot you're making this for. Once you get a bunch of rows in, maybe 30 rows, then try it on the foot. And you'll have to look and see what the toe is looking like. So we're going to grow out here. I'll check in with you guys in quite a few rows. Okay guys, here we go. There's our sock. These need to be pointing out the other direction, but we'll fix that later. So there's the sock. We need to finish the toe. But there it is. Okay guys, now here's the exciting part. We're going to take the sock off the loom. Here's what we do. We take our working yarn, get a little extra. We wrap around the loom twice. Once. We wrap around the loom twice. Try that again. 1, 2. And we cut the yarn. We unwrap those. Now we put our yarn through a yarn needle. If you don't have a yarn needle, I will try to link to one in the information below. So here we ran our yarn needle through here. And what we're going to do is we're going to come up through the bottom and go up through that. And pull it, not tight, but tight-ish. And keep going. Go to the next one, go up and under. And the next one. And we need to go all the way around. Oh, and once we go up through, we can peel these guys off. See, we've already gone up through. We can peel these off and it comes off the loom. I'll show you one at a time. Come up through there. Since we've already gone up through there, we can take that guy off the loom. Come up through here. And now take that loop off the loom. You don't have to have it tight or anything yet. And keep going until you're done. If you guys want to look this up on any other videos, this is called a bind off. Some people call it a cast off. It's either a cast off or a bind off. You'll see a lot of different examples. And if you want to do a few at a time, you can do a few at a time. Now we'll peel those 3 off. So we did 3 more. Now we're going to peel those 3 off. It looks like we have 3 more. 2 more. So we've already gone up through that one. There, we've gone through every loop. Now let's finish taking them off the loom. Feed your needle down through your loom. Your loom is now off. You're done with your loom. Now here's your sock. And your hand can go through it right now. But we're going to be pulling this tighter. But before we do that, we want to pull it. Hello, this is Derek.
Hi, Derek.
So what you guys want to do is you want to put your needle down through here, because we want to do all this on the inside. Put your needle down through your hole, tuck your yarn in there, turn your sock inside out. There, now our sock is inside out. And now we can close up the toe. There's the toe. We go ahead and just cinch this drawstring. Don't get it too tight. You don't want to pull it off and break the yarn. So there, we're tight. We've closed up the sock. We take our yarn. We need to finish up this little loop, and we find a spot in there and just go through, and we tie a knot. Then let's go through that same hole and we'll tie another knot. Pull that knot tight, and for good measure we're going to do one more knot. Just go through that bunch of yarn, wrap it through. Alright. And pull it tight. You can leave a little tail on there. It's tight, it should be fine, but let's trim it about 1 inch. Now let's pull our sock back right side out. And that's it, guys. That's our sock. If I can get it in the camera there. There's our whole sock. Now what we want to do is, since this pull string, see, it goes up on your foot like that, and then you pull this pull string, but the pull string needs to be in the front. So let's fix that. Our pull string is coming out the back here. What we're going to do is, the ends of these yarns, we're going to knot them. Tie it in a double knot. Mine's a little bit loose. I'm going to tie it in a triple knot. I don't want it to come out. It's going to be a mess if it comes out. So now our pull string is closed. So what we can do is we can go to the front of the sock and find our pull string in there. There it is. Pull it out. And so now our pull string is coming out the front, so that's what we want. But we need to kind of rotate it around to where the good parts are sticking out, if that makes sense. There. Now we're sticking out the front. Now we're good. Now we can trim this. Trim these tails off. Make sure the knot's tight. And we're done. That is our sock.